My name is Mira. I am peeling away the clutter in my house and in my life. I was planning to bring you a complete before and after video of the living room, but this week really got away from me, and it's not quite ready yet. I have a few things left to do. I'm going to bring you along for some things, give you a glimpse behind the scenes, and I'll answer some questions. So let's get started. This was a rough day. I was like, I am the biggest fraud because my living room is still a crazy mess. I got some new shoes because the ones I've been wearing are just worn out. So I got two pairs in different colors. Skechers. I really love Skechers. They're great on my feet. And so I thought I am just going to turn the camera on and put some stuff away. So there's always a bit of stuff I need to put away and move after the video is over. There's a bit of a comedy of errors or two coming up here. So you'll see that. But in the meantime, yeah, it's hard. There's comedy of errors 1. I was like, no, I hate these blue bags so much. I thought they looked cool, and so I bought some, but I hate them. I much prefer the Target ones that are the green. And that brings us to question number 1, which is kind of a multi-part question from Lisa Twombly 2010. How much time do you spend cluttering during the week? Do you schedule time each week or day? Do you only do it on weekends? I tend to do it every day. I do take a break every now and then, but now that momentum's going, I feel a little weird if I don't. I spend anywhere from half an hour to an hour and a half each day. Every now and then I'll do 2 hours. An hour a day is the sweet spot though. And the last question she had is, did you especially buy sorting bins? Yes, I did. I got those mint ones from Target and the blue ones are from IKEA. I'll go ahead and link both of those so you can check them out if you'd like. Next question is by Tiffany Leish, 2800. I'm really sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. What have you learned about yourself during this process? What have been your biggest takeaways thus far? One major thing that I've learned is that I'm not alone. There are a lot of people out there who struggle to declutter or who want motivation, and that is very rewarding. I mean, I knew that, but this was really brought home by the number of subscribers that I got, and just how quickly I got them is still just kind of shocking to me. So that is one thing I've learned. I've learned that I have a lot of strength, and even when I get discouraged, I may stop for a while, but I will start up again and just keep going. My biggest takeaway has been the lesson of the pins. I found the pins when I was decluttering by the back door, and I took a pause and curated that collection because I needed a bit of a break, and getting creative always refuels me. So I did that, and I came up with a way to display the pins, which you've seen. This will just be links, so many links in the description. That lesson is when you have so many things that you can't even enjoy them all, going through them and narrowing it down to the ones that you really love will allow you to really showcase those things. And this is something that is coming to mind as I think ahead to working in the spare bedroom, which is where the library is and will be. working with my bedroom, which is where my crap ton of clothes are, there was a time when I felt like it was so great that I had just all these clothes that I could choose from. But the fact was, I had all these clothes, but I wasn't choosing from them. I was only choosing from the latest that were on the top of the pile that I could find. And I've still been doing that with a lot of stuff. So the whole issue with the pins is that it showed me on a small scale what I need to do with the rest of my house. And I think I really needed that. Like, it would have been too overwhelming to think, oh, I need to get rid of 75% of my clothes, which, I probably do need to do. But going through the pins and seeing how it worked with that made me realize, okay, yeah, yep, that's what I need to do, all right. It may not be exactly 75%, but you get what I mean. Sally Ann Smith 7743 says, are you finding it easier to declutter having us all here to support you? Does it motivate you? Absolutely, 1000%. It is easier to declutter because of all of you. I read your comments. They encourage me to keep going. About a week ago, I was taking a day off and I thought I'll just read some comments. That'll be fun. And I sat down and read some comments, and about half an hour later, I'm like, I can get up and do some stuff. Maybe I'll sweep this floor. I can put some stuff away. Let's see what I can do around here. So yes, it absolutely encourages me, and thank you all so much. Mary Souza 6985 says, are you aware that what you are doing is encouraging others and making them see it is possible? This is probably the most surreal thing about it for me, is that people are interested in what I'm doing and that it helps them. It's hard for me to picture that. I mean, I get that that's true, but another part of me is like, why would anyone want to see my crazy self declutter? So I'd say on one level, I get it. On another part, yeah, it does seem really surreal. But I absolutely 100% appreciate it just so much. I'm always very, very touched when people say that I inspired them to toss something out or go through something. I find it incredibly moving, and I appreciate when you share that with me. Thank you. 122501 Leah says, did you make a plan to try to clean your space? Is it hard for you? It wasn't really a formal plan. I knew I wasn't going to start in the nightmare kitchen because I thought, I cannot frighten people away like that. I cannot scare people like that in the first, video. But I figured I might as well start in the living room because I spend a lot of time in here, and I just picked the doorway because I need to get inside. And it was getting kind of hard to do that. So, like I said, not really a formal plan, but that was my thinking behind it. And it definitely was hard, but I knew I needed to do it. I just knew I had to do it. And so it was just a matter of getting started. It's been a little like a snowball that you start rolling down the top of a hill, and then it just gets bigger and more snow is added to it, and that's kind of been my energy. So sometimes I feel like, yeah, I'm riding that snowball. Yeehaw! And other times I feel like I'm being run over by it, but but I just keep on going, and I knew that I was going to have to do it in small sections because anytime I try to focus on an entire room, it just was too much. It is hard in the sense that this does not come naturally to me. Like, I'm getting better at decluttering, and I can tell that I'm getting better at it, and that makes me really happy. But there are still times where I come across things and I'm like, I can't think about this right now and I just have to set it aside and it just has to be okay. And poor future me has to deal with it later. But that's okay. It doesn't have to all be done at once. And the thing that makes it less hard is just to focus on what's right in front of me. Got a few comments like this one from Sparkle Jesus Freak. Love that name. What finally changed in your mindset that made so you could let go of all those things you've held on to for so long? She's asking for advice on speaking with her mother-in-law. Now, I'm sorry to say that I don't have advice on that, but I do want to tell you that I was her. Not long ago, even, I was her. For me, it just took time. This brings to mind a quote by Anna Nin, and the quote is, "The day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." And that's really what happened to me this summer. I remember sitting on the couch I'm sitting on right now, sitting in piles of stuff, thinking I really need to clean up, and realizing that I had said that every year and I couldn't do it for another year. I couldn't. I knew that if I didn't do something, I would be sitting on the same couch in another year, surrounded by piles of stuff, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. I've mentioned before that it was like several seeds that had been planted over time eventually just took root and started to grow. Maybe you could try planting some seeds. I mean, you know the person best, so you'll know how they will respond, but you could say, "Hey, I just started watching someone who is decluttering their house and I think it's really cool." Or even that might feel too pushy, but I would just tap into your intuition and what feels right to say. Say it. And it can be something really small. Like, I dropped off some sweaters at Goodwill today and I felt so good afterward. You know, just something simple and small like that. I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer to that question, but I just want you to know that I feel for you, and I know that my family and friends probably felt that way about me as well. Next is from Leanne Yates, 7869. Have you enjoyed using items you have uncovered? Yes, I definitely do. I will find myself using something and being like, "Oh, and I recently found this." And here's a little funny behind the scenes story. So every time I put on deodorant, I kind of chuckle to myself because I found like 4 or 5 sticks of deodorant in Clutter Mountain and Clutter Corner. I would get one and then I would lose it in the pile, and then I'd be like, "I need more deodorant," and so I would order more. I am well stocked on deodorant and determined to smell good, so so there's that. Did you return the suitcases to your parents yet? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. What do you find the hardest, starting, finishing, or the middle? Okay, there's a challenge to each of those, but starting is surprisingly the easiest now. Like at first, it was probably harder. Not so much anymore. I just kind of take a deep breath and get in. But the middle is definitely painful. And there's always something about finishing. Part of that might be, okay, I finished clearing that space, but I still have 3 totes of stuff I need to put somewhere. Or, here's a bunch of trash and it doesn't all fit, and the trash just came yesterday, so I have to make do for another week. That kind of stuff. There is something about that messy middle, though. 007 Wanda says, is there a room space you look most forward to declutter and least? Okay, so probably the most looking forward is the spare bedroom. It's the room with several collections in it. I've got tarot, I've got books, I've got comics in there, so I am just excited. I'm excited. The laundry room is the least one because it has so many boxes in there, so many boxes. And that is why that room is called Mount Doom, because it's got all my boxes of doom. And I know when I get to that room, a lot of it is going to need to go. A lot of the stuff in that room is going to need to go. For now, I'm saving that room for last because hopefully I'll have built up my decluttering muscles as good as they can be, and then I'll be better ready to let stuff go. Okay, what space are you most excited about to be without clutter? Not the process, the end result. That would be the scrapbook room. The scrapbook room is the biggest room of the house. And it's actually why I bought this house, because I wanted a big scrapbook room. And I got it, but whoa, it's something. It's something right now. And it's especially something because I have found a lot of craft stuff in this room and in the living room. And so I've had to take it in there and I just kind of drop it wherever I can, wherever I can find, because, things don't have homes right now in the other rooms. And so it's gonna be a process, but the end result, I'm very excited to see it. I'm very excited. Okay, and the last part of that question is, do you think you will keep up this pace or do you think you will need some breathers? Or is the pace what keeps you going? The thing about my ADD is that when I get into something, I throw my whole self into it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Truth is, I probably do need to slow down. I am working on the whole balance thing. So, work in progress. But I think it does help me to keep going, to even to have videos where I post, smaller spaces or smaller or just spaces with less stuff, simply because I do get overwhelmed sometimes. I'm still I feel like I've been doing this for a while, but it's really only been a few months and I'm still learning and still growing. So yeah, I will definitely keep posting videos. You don't need to worry about that, but I might slow down a bit, but I'm not going anywhere, so you don't need to worry about that. Sherryland7461 asks, what do you envision your life will be when you are free of clutter? This got me thinking. And the truth is, I have a hard time imagining that. I'm still working on that. I'm not sure. But I was thinking, a few days ago, like, what am I going to do with myself? When like I don't have a bunch of things to declutter or go through or clean. And I thought that may lead to a bit of a breakdown. But I definitely want to enjoy that space. And I am definitely starting to do that, which is wonderful. Beverly 2020 asks, has this process changed your spending habits? Are you more intentional on what you allow into your house? Somewhat. I would definitely say that it has had an effect. It's not a night and day kind of thing, but I am being more thoughtful about it. As you know, I have so much in this house already that I just think it can't be something like frivolous. It has to serve a need. Do you have a plan on immediately dealing with trash rather than doing so later. I am working on that. I will talk a bit about trash when we get to the kitchen. It seems really straightforward because really it is, but you have to remember that I am changing years and years of habits, so it's something that I am working on, and I'm aware of it for sure and working on it. Do you think that this process will become a lifestyle where you continue to evaluate what you keep even after the initial clean out so that you will begin to purge as you go throughout daily living? I haven't thought about it from a daily living perspective. I need to get there and I will get there, but it will just take time. But I've definitely realized I am going to be doing this again. Like, I'm going to make a full circle of the house, and then I'm sure I'll probably come back to start all over again. I found some DVDs that I put back in the cases, and it was super annoying to have to reach behind one row of items to get to the row behind it. So that's something I need to think about in the future, but I am discovering that it really helps me to think about those things in advance. So it kind of goes back to the planting a seed idea. Like, if I think right now, okay, it's really annoying to have to go through all these DVDs to find the one I want. Then when it comes time to actually go through the DVDs again, by that point, I'll be better able to put that into practice. It's kind of like when I initially went through that DVD area and I knew that I was going to get rid of the entertainment center that I had before, and I knew I had emotional attachment to it. I still was like, I need to let it go. But I had time to kind of prep myself. I was like, okay, this is when the person's coming to assemble the piece. So I have until then, and you can kind of get your brain used to the idea before you actually do it. And so it made doing it a little bit easier. Come to think of it, that's another big takeaway that I have had from this experience so far, going back to the question about my big takeaways, is thinking about something in advance helps when it gets down to me needing to do it. And I found that when I asked about books and how to declutter books and got people's suggestions, and I got so many great suggestions. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I do feel like I'll be more prepared to face that when I get to that part of the house, because it's coming. It's coming. Carrie 3206 says, would you be willing to do a tour of your home? Coming right up. Let's start with the master bedroom. Here I'm sitting on the bed and I'm looking at my left, and we're just circling the room. There I've got a couple of creepy dolls in my creepy doll collection. Yeah. There is a box of hangers in there because I want to make the hangers more uniform at some point. Now, here is a pile of clean clothes. I've been doing hella laundry lately so that I have a lot of clothes that I can start going through. So that's what I am planning to show you guys at some point. And yeah, here's my hamper. Is there an actual hamper under there? Stay tuned. You'll have to watch and see. Now, this is a piece of furniture that I absolutely love, but it's completely impractical. I don't know. I'm hoping to be able to use it somewhere, but we'll see. Again. Now, this is my nightstand right next to my bed. And you might be wondering why there aren't too many boxes in this room, and that is because when I went to the hospital, my sister came over and moved lots of boxes into the laundry room. So, all right, that was the bedroom. This is the spare bedroom, otherwise known as the tree room, but I don't want it to be the tree room forever. I want to actually pull up that wallpaper, paint that wall, and have it be like an art wall. And here is the start of the library, as well as lots of other things from the living room that have been moved in here. So yeah, there's the spare bedroom. It's small, but it'll hold a few collections. All right, now this is the scrapbook room. When you come in the front door, you turn right, go through the kitchen, and then you get to this door into the scrapbook room. It's the biggest room of the house, and oh boy, look at all this fun. Oh gosh. We got plenty of trash in here, along with a ton of scrapbook supplies. Now on this side, there is also some shelving that seems handy to hang clothes up on, so I've been doing that. I do hang dry a lot of my clothes, so I hang some there. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to store a few things in here. I don't have very many closets in the house. I have closets in each of the bedrooms, one in the laundry room, and then one in the kitchen area, and one in the hallway by the bathroom. And I forgot to film the bathroom, but you'll see that in an upcoming video, so fear not. The bathroom is not as bad as some of the others, but you know, still cluttery. Now here's the laundry room, which I call Mount Doom, because look at all these boxes. All these boxes of doom, which contain all kinds of things from scrapbooking supplies, books. There are more CDs in here, DVDs in here, candles in here, more clothes in here, all kinds of stuff in here. Oh, my plan is to do this room last, as I mentioned. Whew, at least see that there is no shortage of stuff to go through. So yeah, there'll be plenty of content for a good long while. TLS0214 says, what are you most proud of so far? I think it's just the fact that I have been doing this and continue to do this. I mean, not only did I start, but here I am 3 months later, still going, and I promise I'm not sitting on Cupid here. Sassy SLS girl says, I now know you like Captain America and Doctor Who. What other nerd things do you nerd out over? I'm a huge Marvel fan. Huge. I also love Batman because he's Batman, and how do you not love him? I loved Sherlock, so I've got some Sherlock stuff. But you'll see more of that when we get to my t-shirt collection, because, yeah, I have so many collections. Mandy Burns asks, how do you feel when you finish an area? I would say I feel pretty good. Sometimes when I am done with a bigger area, I do have a little meltdown. And that's maybe a day or two after I finish, usually. With Clutter Corner, it happened kind of during the whole process. But for the most part, it feels good. And there's a little bit of worry that I'm not going to be able to keep it going, but I just keep reminding myself, just figure it out for today, just keep it clean today, and keep on moving. Amara560 asks, have you ever done any voice work narration? You have a really lovely voice. Thank you For one thing, I actually haven't, and I didn't really like my voice, but so many people have commented on this that I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I need to look into this. So I might pursue something. I'm gonna take a look and see what I can come up with. So big thanks for the suggestion. Beth Irwin asks, how are your fur babies handling the change? And I'll answer that a little bit later, along with another question about the dogs. Is your breathing better after the dust settles? And I think it is. I regularly use a nebulizer, but I am using it less these days. So I feel like that's kind of a contributor. What category of things are you struggling with the most? I would say so far I am doing okay with CDs. I was a little intimidated at first, but I have a plan for those. But DVDs are a little bit hard, and books are hard. I'm hoping clothes won't be too hard, but we'll get there. I think what I might struggle with is as I get toward the end. Okay, let me start over. So right now I'm kind of shuffling things from room to room. I'm putting things in the room where they belong, but as you know, there's a finite amount of space, and as I keep moving stuff, I'm realizing that I have to let go of more, and that I think that in general is going to be harder. I mean, right now there is stuff that's going out, but it's not a huge amount. It's not a significant amount. And I feel like the more I do this, the more significant an amount I will need to let go of. And that's going to be hard, I think. On the other hand, I'm building up those muscles, as I've mentioned. So maybe by the time I get there, I'll just feel more confident and just be like, okay, I know how much room I have and how much I can keep, and so it'll come a little bit more naturally. And that's kind of my hope. Next part of the question, what can we help you with? Okay, that is sweet. That is sweet. You all help me a lot with your comments and just with your support. When I ask questions like, how do you handle getting rid of books, for example, I can count on there being dozens of responses that I can look through and look over and just get the mind thinking about, okay, how am I gonna approach this? What of these suggestions resonate with me, and what can I take and move forward with? Are you finding your life changing as you have more space to move around? Yes. I become kind of greedy about the space, and I want to keep more space open. Let's see. Discovered you had more or less interests once you took stock of what you had. I wouldn't say that I have done that at this point. I'm sure I will come across things and be like, okay, maybe I don't need this anymore. But not really so far. Kutanra says, what channels do you follow for ideas and motivation? The two main ones are the Carla Project, even though I don't feel like I'm anywhere like near her level, but I just get very motivated by watching her. And also A Hoarder's Heart is a big one as well. But I am exploring others, and people have suggested others in the comments, and I'm definitely going through and watching some and seeing what I resonate with. Let's see, the second question is, are there systems or mottos and mantras you are going to try for maintaining the space? I need to look more into what systems are out there, but right now the main one is focus on what's in front of you and focus on today are the two main ones. Because I tend to get very anxious when I think ahead. Diane Wood says, I find it so funny about you and the water bottles. Have you figured out a solution? And I'm glad you find it funny. I find it funny too. It definitely is an ongoing issue, as you've already seen in this video. So I think I have found a solution. I had my eye on it for a while and I thought, no, I don't need to buy anything else, but I am gonna, I did. I hit the trigger on this item, and I am going to set it up and show it to you when I do the living room reveal. Desiree D'Alessandro asks, do you have any celebratory plans for once the home is finished being decluttered? No, not yet. I do need to do something. I know that for sure, but I'll think about that and decide as I get closer to that. Glenda W5221 says, is your long-term goal to eventually go minimalistic? No. Now, having said that, I never say never, but just knowing me and my personality, I don't think that's for me. I love my collections too much for that, I think. Celine Scrap Passion 2184 says, you said you worked from home. Where is your workspace, and is it also cluttered? You have seen my workspace. It is in my living room. I just work on the couch. I am a writer and editor. I'm not working full time right now. I'm still working up to that from my hospital stay. Lately, I have been helping people write their family history stories and stories that they want to share, or speeches for weddings and that kind of thing. And it's so much better now that I have more room to be in and I don't have to sit surrounded by all the piles, because the piles, while they brought me comfort in that was what I knew, they also, it was also just a constant reminder of, I need to do something about this. I need to get this out of here. And that pressure just continually coming to mind does kind of weigh you down. Julia Bersolini, sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly, asks, how are you? And can I just say I love that question? Thank you so much for asking. I'm doing good. Since I started decluttering, I've noticed that my depression is diminishing. I mean, it's never going to go away. That's just brain chemistry, but it's been good to have something else to focus on, and I definitely have noticed a dramatic improvement there. Kathleen Vince, 1877, says, I'd like to hear more about your dogs, breed, temperament, etc. Similarly, Everdream Cosplay says, I'd like to know all about the little furry snoopervisor, which I love that phrase. But we're going to start with Cupid. I got Cupid at the Humane Society in 2008. He was 2. His name was Cupid at the shelter, and I kept that name because I felt like it suited him. He's part Lhasa Apso, part miniature poodle, and he loves to fetch. Well, okay, in his younger days, he loved fetching so much. He's a fetchaholic, could outfetch any retriever that ever was. Here he is with his ketchup toy. He is very true to his Lhasa Apso temperament, so he is very protective and he is super loyal, and I love him. He was diagnosed with kidney disease last year and has really slowed down a lot, but I am grateful for every moment that I have with him. I don't know how much longer it'll be, but I treasure every single one. He's a really great dog. I got Clayton in 2009. He was my gift to myself for not being laid off. He loves other dogs and people, and he's definitely very into other people's business, as you've already noticed. There he is, giving me a high five. He's a toy poodle. He has the poodle trait of kind of scratching at you with his paws, so that's kind of what that's about. He loves stealing Cupid's toys and treats, even when he is wearing a cone on his head. Oh gosh, yeah, he's a little imp at times. Super cute. He also likes to steal stuff from me, as you'll see in this picture. He's stolen some scrapbooking stickers, some dog themed ones, no less. Cute little stinker. They are both very food motivated, and they have loved exploring the new areas that have opened up. It's been really great to watch them just enjoy the new surroundings. I would do this decluttering all over again just for them, seeing how much that they love it. Okay, so this is the last question. If you have no interest in tarot, you can just skip it. Heather Lowe 5052 asks, what do you like about having different packs of tarot cards? Now, tarot is something that I love partly for the art. I love that there are different styles of art, but here I'm just showing you the Four of Cups in the Star Seeker Tarot. The general idea behind this card is that you have three cups, but someone is holding out a fourth cup to you. I love seeing the slightly different spins that the different artists put on that. In that first deck, for instance, the fourth cup is behind them, so they can't even see it. They don't even know it's there. So if you saw that card, you might think, oh, is there something that I'm not seeing in this situation? Here's a different Four of Cups. This is from the Light Seers Tarot, which I just barely found. And with this one, all the cups are in view, and she looks bored. She's like, I don't even care about this. So if you looked at this particular card, you might say, okay, I'm feeling pretty bored about stuff right now. What's going to revitalize my interest in certain aspects of my life? So hopefully what you're kind of seeing is that what I like about the different cards is that although they have the same cards, the way that the artists interpret it can give a new spin on the idea. This is from Tarot of the Holy Spectrum, which is not really focusing, and I'm sorry about that. But with this one, he's automatically refusing it. He's like, I've already got three cups. I don't need a fourth. And the fourth, it's got that little shiny spark on it, so it might be better than the other three. But that person's like, not interested. And again, that could play into what you think about when you get that card. Okay, now I had to share. This is one of my favorite Four of Cups ever. The cat knocking off the fourth cup. And maybe it's from boredom. Maybe that cat's just being a cat. But anytime I use this deck, that card makes me laugh. And then there are other decks that allow more personal interpretation. This next one is going to be the Kai Tarot Love deck, and you can decide what you think it means. There are four hearts. One is very big. Three others are kind of surrounding it, and there's kind of a little cloud up above, and it's up to you what you think it means. So I could talk about tarot all day. To me, it's a tool that I use for self-discovery and to see things about a situation that I might not have considered before. No, I just had to do a shuffle because I love shuffling, even though I'm not that great at it. So here comes the shuffle. But the fact is, I tend to collect things in general. Like I'm a collector, as you've seen before. So that just kind of extended to tarot as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I am going to be back in the next one with a full before and after living room reveal.